Hello, I'm Barbara. Today is the 6th of December 2020 and this is episode 7, entry 7 in the diary of my recovery from binge eating disorder. Now the last of these recordings that I made, which was quite a while ago, nearly 3 weeks ago, I said that was episode 7, but I'd got ahead of myself. That was actually episode 6, but I corrected it in the titles on YouTube. So why has it been so long since I've done an episode? Because prior to that I was roughly doing one a week. Well, I guess I just got busy with other things. So that means it's a bit difficult to, remember blow by blow what's happened since the last time I recorded. One thing that has happened that I can tell you about is that I've had a binge a few days after my last recording, and then over the last week or so there've been a couple of occasions when it's not quite a binge, but I've eaten more than I was really comfortable with. But really the kind of learning, particularly from that first time, was that not weighing myself is a really good idea. Because of course, when I'd binged, woke up the following morning and thought, oh, why did I do that? The first thing I wanted to do was weigh myself. But I didn't, because I'd decided I wasn't going to do that. And then within just, a matter of days, 2 or 3 days, I'd kind of pretty much forgotten about it. I couldn't remember the detail of what I'd eaten or why, and the concern about my weight had just kind of dissolved away. And I think that's a positive thing, because based on previous experience, if I had got on the scales and I'd gone up 2 pounds or whatever, I'd be thinking, oh no, it's dreadful, and I have to lose weight, I have to cut down, I have to do that. And I know that dieting and restricting leads to binge eating. Then I did get quite busy with some of the things that are going on in my life. And I didn't pay, for about a couple of weeks, I didn't pay much attention to my eating issues. I just kind of got on with life as it was happening. But over the last week or so, I have started to get a bit more concerned about what I've been eating. So what I mean by that is that we have started to have snack foods and sweets and crisps and things like that in the house on a regular basis, rather than as I was doing for a while, just kind of buying a small amount, eating them, and then they were gone. We've had them in the house on a regular basis, and just over the last week or so, it's started to become more frequent that I'm having things in between meals. I'm having a nibble of this and a bit of that, and along with that slight change in my eating habits comes concern about my weight. Comes a worry that I might in fact be putting weight on. Now, if you kind of pinned me up against the wall and said, look, have you actually gained weight? I think I'm going to say no. I don't think there's really been any change. I probably don't think I've lost any either. But the scales are still hidden away in the cupboard, and I'm not intending to bring them out. What I'm going to do instead, rather than kind of go into that whole number-driven, obsessive monitoring of food, I'm going to go back again and read the sections of intuitive eating which seem to be the most relevant and that will be immediately the most helpful. So the principles concerned are, well, rejecting the diet mentality, which is the first principle, is really important. So in other words, I'm refusing to believe that my weight is the most important thing about me. I am refusing to take extreme action in order to lose weight. Along with that goes honouring my hunger and respecting my fullness. And I think those are two things where I have probably kind of slacked and kind of fallen away a bit. So honouring your hunger means that when you're hungry you do eat. Now, to be fair, I'm fairly good at that. But the other side is respecting your fullness. And that means while you're eating, just checking in, pausing from time to time while you're eating and asking yourself, what they suggest in the book, first of all asking yourself whether the food still tastes good. Is what you're eating actually tasty and enjoyable? And because if it isn't, well, why do you want to eat something you're not enjoying? But then the second question to ask is, well, am I starting to reach the point of nicely satisfied? Am I approaching the point at which it would be good to stop eating, even though there's still food left on the plate? And I think that if I put those two ideas together, so honouring my hunger and respecting my fullness, and pay a bit more attention to them, I am likely to stop eating sooner. What I'm aware of as well, though, is that alongside those, I need to have some of the other principles, things like making peace with food and challenging the food police. And taken together, those two are about really not having any rules about what I'm allowed or not allowed to eat. No such thing as good food, bad food, unhealthy food, naughty food. I mean, some food tastes better than others. Some food has more in the way of vitamins and micronutrients. Some food contains things which are probably not great for health when eaten in large quantities. But that doesn't mean those foods have to be completely excluded from what I eat. It's just a question of not going overboard with them. So I think I need to remind myself. So if, for example, I have started to nibble something in the evening, and I pause and I ask myself, well, am I really enjoying this? And am I actually hungry? Am I satisfying a physical hunger, or am I doing something else? I think it's then helpful to remind myself that there are no banned foods, that if I want to eat this food, I can. I can eat it now, I can eat it later, I can eat it tomorrow, I can do all of those, it's my choice. But am I really eating in order to meet a biological need for food, or for the pleasure, the enjoyment of this particular food? Or actually, am I eating because I am bored, stressed, upset about something? One of the other really important intuitive eating principles is to cope with your emotions with kindness. You see, if I'm upset about something, then what helps? And what helps is probably to spend a bit of time with myself, try and understand why I'm upset, and is there actually anything practical that I can do, to deal with the situation that's upsetting me? And there may not be, but there may be, and taking practical steps will probably help my mood and make me feel better, whereas eating a load of chocolate won't. It won't change the practical situation. It will temporarily give me relief from the uncomfortable feelings, but then they'll be followed. That will be followed before long with more uncomfortable feelings of regret and disappointment with myself. Yeah, so I think I need to remind myself of those intuitive eating principles and put a bit more effort into putting them into practice. And that way, hopefully, over the next few days, the next week or so, I'll find the kind of outside of meal eating that I've been doing will start to lessen. And I won't get all kind of worked up and upset about it, because it's that tends to lead, it leads me in the direction of dieting, which is not a good thing for me to be doing. And it also makes me more upset and more stressed. So that generates more negative feelings that I try to cope with food. So I think I'm going to leave it there for now. Perhaps update in another 1 to 2 weeks, this side of Christmas anyway. And perhaps next time I'll talk about the Christmas food environment and how I cope with that as someone who is aiming to recover from binge eating disorder. I hope you're well. I'll see you next time. Bye for now.